As viewers of LaRouche PAC know, the LaRouche PAC Policy Committee has been on Capitol Hill for the last 2 weeks in a pitched battle to secure the reinstatement of the FDR Glass-Steagall Act. After 2 weeks on the Hill and a discussion tonight with Mr. LaRouche, it's become clear to us that we have not adequately conveyed to you, the American population, and the Congress, our intent and purpose in reinstating Glass-Steagall. The key to the reinstatement of Glass-Steagall is to bankrupt Wall Street. Wall Street intends to kill you. Wall Street is an outgrowth of the City of London and the British monarchy, which has expressly stated that this planet can only hold 1 billion people and that therefore 6 billion people must be eliminated. So their intent is to kill the American population. Our intent is that Wall Street must be bankrupted, and we are making the case for that this evening.
Perhaps the greatest example of this Wall Street attack on the nation has been the destruction of the city of Detroit. The attack on Detroit as the productive center of this nation over the years has been an attack on the nation itself. The former arsenal of democracy has been destroyed at the hands of Wall Street, and especially an acceleration of this destruction with the attack and the shutdown of the auto production parts and manufacturing capability as a whole, especially since the Bush administration. This takedown of the automobile manufacturing capability has been done to further collapse the ability of the entire nation to generate wealth for its people. With this process underway, there has been a luring of the city of Detroit with its collapsed productive and revenue capabilities into a series of rigged financial agreements, the purpose of which has been to loot the city of Detroit. What Detroit is going through right now is the face of what the whole nation is going to look like if we do not restore Glass-Steagall and use that bankrupting of Wall Street as a basis for revival of the productive capability of the nation.
Your food has been taken away. The intention of the British Empire and the Queen is to starve you. Look at the case of Texas. Look at the case of California. We are losing our agricultural production. We are being driven into massive and destructive drought. We are taking away the supply of livelihood of the population, the water that they need to survive, the food that they need to survive. This is an intended policy of the empire. This is an intended policy of Wall Street. The intention is to starve the population. We intend to stop this. The intention right now, as we've seen in Texas, is to destroy our cattle supply, is to destroy our land area, to make it uninhabitable in terms of the food production that is necessary to feed our population. We must put a stop to this now.
There can be absolutely no recovery without the destruction of the environmentalist agenda brought about really since the days of the death of John F. Kennedy. His death ushered in a new paradigm with environmentalism at its core. This is behind the food policy. This is behind the destruction of the physical economy of the United States. And perhaps there could be no clearer thread to the British monarchy than environmentalism itself. The World Wildlife Fund, directly founded by Prince Philip, the husband of Queen Elizabeth, Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands, their agenda has nothing to do with the environment. Their agenda has to do with killing the American people, killing people on this planet, the reduction of the world population from 7 billion to less than 1. It's their stated policy, And environmentalism is their science policy to carry out, although it's not science at all. It's a fraud. And the connection, the fundamental connection to Wall Street is seen just in some of the very same players. Why is Hank Paulson the head of the Nature Conservancy? Right? This is their policy is to loot the American people with their financial racket, destroy, steal the pensions, steal the deposits, and prevent their economic development. So destroying environmentalism is a key way to destroy this Wall Street crowd. It's one and the same.
This nation is at war, and it is a question now of waging judgment against those who have committed crimes against this nation and crimes against humanity. It is the institutions of Wall Street. It is the institutions of the City of London. It is the British monarchy and that relic of the British Empire that has destroyed this country over decades and has committed to not only the destruction of our manufacturing and food base, but of our population itself. It is now a time of reckoning. Either we, the American people, hold our members of Congress accountable and hold judgment against those institutions for crimes against humanity, take them out of their banks on Wall Street in London, frog march them into prison, put their banks into holiday, put them into audit, and bankrupt those institutions for the frauds they've committed over the decades and even centuries against our country and the world. If we do that, this nation can survive. It is a question of authority, it's a question of morality, and it's a question of passion. But this nation is at war, and it's a war we must win.
Once this is done, once Glass-Steagall is put through and we regain our nation, we can be free again as a nation. The first step after reinstating Glass-Steagall, directly with it, is the issuance of federal credit to build NWAPA, to put people back to work. We need to rebuild our water supply. We need to rebuild our agriculture. We need industry. People's identities are not in their daily existence, but in their mission as a human being, and that has been taken from people. If there are no jobs, if there's not enough food to be put on the table for a family, there is no happiness and there is no hope for the future, and we must regain this hope. And this is what we will do with these needed measures. This is what we do. Glass-Steagall, build NWAPA. We need to develop this nation. We need to think in the long term, 30 to 50 years or more ahead. We need to think about what it is that we are giving to the children today. We must put people back to work, and once we do this, people will be free again, and they will have lives, and they will feel worthwhile to live, and they will trust their government. And this is what will be done after we put through a Pecora Commission and the needed shutdown and bankrupting of the Wall Street apparatus which has destroyed our nation.